knees. So if you have a blanket or something to put underneath of your knees, do that. We're going to be there for a little bit of time. So let's make our way first to child's pose. Okay. You can have a block or something to put your head on if you want as well. And slowly, just as you're comfortable, make your way down to a child's pose. Legs wide, nice and wide if you can, your knees wide. And just wiggle your hips back and forth a little bit, your side body. Let your hips start to become heavy. Feel your tailbone maybe start to feel a little bit more weighted down into the earth. Take a few nice deep breaths. Starting to tune into your breath. As you continue to breathe, feel your hips become a little more weighted, a little heavier. Start to open up around the tailbone, top of the hips. And softly breathing in and breathing out. Using the sound of your breath to guide you to feeling a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more calm. Start to unwind your body, unwind your thoughts, put the day aside. And cultivating sukha, good space and sweetness in your joints, between your teeth, in the closing of your eyes. And softness in your inner ears, your throat. Just feel the weight of your body sink a little heavier into your mat. And softly breathing, maybe part your lips. Your cheekbones fall a little heavier. And softness into the center of your palms, and the inner wrists, and down through the finger joints. Just let any gripping go that you might be holding in the elbows and shoulders. And down your spine. And softening your facial structure. So your skin, muscle, bone, tissue, cartilage. All around the eyebrows. And softening your breath, your inhale and your exhale. And maybe also at that same time, maybe your breath can be a little bit deeper or a little bit longer. Let's use this time to go inward and quiet things in your world, outer world and inner world. Let your body fill with breath, the belly, all around the heart, all around the lungs, front, side, back. Just a few more breaths here, and then we're going to move into lengthening out the side body state. We're going to stay in child's pose. Just remain here in your child's pose for 3 more breaths. Okay, when we're ready, we're going to go off to the right first. So staying in child's pose, have your arms out extended long in front of you, and just moving your right hand off to the side, off the mat. And then the left hand, you're going to shift your body, upper body over, stack the left hand on top of the right hand, and then just sink your heart down toward the mat. Take that left hip and ground it down, pull it back, and then start to tip the left shoulder down as well towards the mat. If you're not feeling it, maybe just kind of walk that left hand a little further away and try to pull the tailbone back, that left hip back. Just nice, even breathing, making sure you haven't built up tension in the lips and jaw and teeth. They're remaining nice and soft, parted. And stay here for 2 more breaths. So let your elbows sink into the floor. If you're holding tension in the arms as they're extended out. Okay, our next breath is going to be our transition breath over to walking to the other side. So taking a breath in, take the hands over as you walk over. Take that left hand out off the mat, right hand on top, and then pull back the tailbone, sink that right hip, tip the right shoulder towards the mat. Let the elbows fall deep into your mat as well. Softening through the lips and the jaw, the eyes. Put 2 more breaths here. And slow, soft, mindful breath. Okay. Our next breath is going to transition back to center. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands nice and long away from you. So maybe spidey fingers the hands away, and then just peel like you're trying to pull the top of the mat back towards you. Pull the tailbone back towards the heels, plant the hands, and then try and pull your mat. And so you're trying to ripple it underneath of you. Hopefully you're going to feel this a little bit in through the armpits, the triceps, the lats. It's a nice active stretch. All right, let's take an inhale. Exhale, slowly, slowly lift up to 4s. Walk the hands back to come underneath of you. Bring your knees underneath your hips. Beauty. So just stretch a leg back, stretch your right or left leg back, whichever one you want to do first. Hold the belly, engage the belly, press the mat away from you. Plant the toes into your mat. Set your drishti just out in front of you and then press into your mat. Elongate your arm bones a little bit. And bring that leg in and let's transition through to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, root the toes, send the heel, pull the belly, tuck the tailbone down, peel the shoulder blades apart, press into the mat to elongate your bones of the arms. Some nice deep breathing. It's always really nice when you can do that. So I'm pretty sure a lot of us are quite shallow breathing while we're moving throughout our day. Awesome. Okay. Let's bring the knees back underneath and we're going to drop down into Sphinx. If you want to use your blanket to roll and put underneath just at the base of your rib cage, you can, and that's going to ease the pose a little bit. Otherwise, walk the hands forward, walk the legs back. So you're in a really, really long extended fours. Inhale deeply. Exhale, sink the elbows and then let those hips slowly come down to the mat. Make some space into the front thighs, into the belly. You can let your legs come a little wider if you want to on the mat. And then feel your 10 toenails pressing or resting, I guess, on the mat there. Shoulders below the hip, elbows below the shoulders. And then splay your fingers out and just really gently place them on your mat. So we're just going to stay here at first, and then we'll start pressing into the arms and drawing the heart forward and open a little more. But let's just let our body settle and welcome our pose in here first. And breathing, set your drishti down so you're not down on an angle, so you're not compressing in the back of your neck at all. And start to release across the lower back, through the outer hips, the groins, the pelvic floor. So if this is good for you and you're happy right here, fantastic. If it's too deep for you, then please splay your elbows out and drop the heart down and drop your drishti down just slightly. All right. Otherwise, if you're here with me and the elbows under the shoulders, take a breath. And as you breathe out, press like the same we did with the hands and make the upper arm bones really long. Lots of space in your armpits and across your chest, across your collarbones. Feel the pads of your fingers connected to your mat. Breathing. If you're able to draw some breath down into your belly, great time to do that too. Find a drishti if your eyes are open that you can softly gaze at with an open gaze. If they're closed, that of course is going to take you a little more inward. Maybe you can let your lips part and your teeth have space, tongue nice and soft. If you sunk back into the shoulder joint, press the arm bones long, nice and long in the back of the neck. You can play with the position of your arms, the lower arm bones as well. You can draw your hands together to clasp here, or prayer pose, or just holding one palm in the other, or fingers, one fist. Hold your fist within the palm. There. Just making sure to keep pressing into the elbows. And soften your facial structure right in behind your eyes, all around your brain, and down into your throat. And soften the lower portion of the jawbone just below the chin there. So let's stay here for 3 more breaths. And then we're going to lower back down to our mat. Maybe soften into your ankles. Check into your feet. See how they're doing. Your ankles and your toes, tops of your feet. Last breath here. So to slowly come out of our Sphinx pose, we're going to take one elbow out and then the other and let our chest come back down. And you can stack your fists to place your forehead on if you want to. As you release down nice and slow. And then also what you can do to help relieve the lower back a little bit is to bend one knee slightly. So just shift off to the side slightly and draw one knee up. Just a few breaths here. So if you have drawn one knee up, let's slide it back down. And then we're going to balance this out and draw the other knee up as well. Soften through the pelvis, into the knees and the ankles. Last breath here, and we're going to slide this leg back down. Awesome. So walk the leg bones really long, lift them up, pick them up, walk them down along the mat there. And then we're going to take the hands into inner strength mudra. So we're hugging all of the fingers, but the pointer fingers. And we're going to extend them long like we're a pencil. So our drishti is, and our nose is down towards the mat. And just walk your hands long, your arms long as well. So in the arms, you're fairly active. You can let your legs release into your mat. Few nice deep breaths. So this is a really great time to take your breath, like wrap it around the lats, around the rib cage, the chest cavity, and really try and breathe into the sides of your ribs. Beauty. Release that. Draw the hands back to below the shoulder heads to support us in coming back up to 4s. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Peel your body up. And I think we're going to lift up into just a downward facing dog for a few breaths. Okay, so tuck your toes underneath. You're welcome to keep your knees fairly bent when you first arrive into your downward facing dog. Nicely, deeply bent knees at first. Wrap the lats around the heart. Press into the pads of your fingers. Open the tailbone up towards the sky. Let your head draw between the upper arm bones. Deep breathing. And then when you're ready, you can lengthen out those legs as you breathe out. Some nice deep breathing. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. So our next breath, we're going to draw down to the mat. So inhale to your toes. Exhale, slowly let those knees are anchoring down to the mat. And release them. And you know what? Let's do a few cat-cows, nice and slow, mindful cat-cows. Move at your own pace. Hold and pause in one or the other if you need it. One more time for each one. Beautiful. Come back to a natural, normal, lengthened spine, flat back in your force. Breathe in, breathe out, and we're going to come to seated Sukhasana. So just draw a knee underneath of you. Bring the other one around. Awesome. Okay. So you're nice and tall, seated nice and tall in your spine. Lift yourself, move yourself around to ground into your sit bones. Find a nice tall spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Awesome. Start to release your groins. You can let your fingers droop over the knees. Imagine that any stress droplets are just dropping out of the fingertips. Lift your heart from the inside out. The shoulders drop down, let your elbows anchor down toward your mat. Some nice full deep breath. And from here, we're going to slowly fall into a forward fold. So nice big breath in. Exhale, walk the hands forward and just pause when you start to feel your stretch. Just pause there and breathe for a few breaths and then continue on into your forward fold as deep as your body is happy to go tonight. Bringing awareness to the left and right sit bone. They're nicely rooted, nicely grounded. Armpits are nice and soft. Your elbows have a nice natural bend in them. You're welcome to, sometimes it is nice to have your hands flat and placed on the floor. It's also really nice to help release some of the tension in the wrists and fingers, to tent your hands or pull them up, pull the palms up and just anchor the fingertips into the floor. So this forward fold, we're going to try and be in for about 5 minutes. So make yourself comfortable. If you need to sit on something, bring the hips up a little bit. And as your body starts to open up and receive the pose, you can draw a little deeper into it. You can surrender around through the spine, drop the chin, the crown towards the floor. Imagine softness rippling down and through and around your spinal column. Same thing with the shoulder blades, in, behind, and around the shoulder blades. Across your lower back. Maintaining a nice, soft, even breath. Lips may fall heavy from your teeth. Notice at any time if you're you're holding in the breath, if you're gripping in the breath. Great to suspend the breath at the bottom of an inhale or an exhale, but we just don't want to hold our breath. I'm just going to leave us here with our fold for a couple of minutes. Doing a body scan here and there, just as a way of communicating or listening to your body and your needs, what's happening. Try and soften your skull bones. Right at the base of the skull, the base of the neck, across the shoulders. Try and surrender a little bit more into your fold. Oh boy, I think my puppy is not happy. Nice soft breathing. Notice if you're pressing your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. Remember to check in and see if your body is ready to fold a little deeper. Even if it's a very small shift, it's still a shift. And soften the eyelids. About another minute. Let your head, your crown, fall more towards the mat. Let your head hang a little bit heavier. So tune into your sit bones, left and right sit bone. And as we draw up back to a tall spine, we want to ground strongly through the sit bones as we rise the upper body. Let's take a breath in. Breath out, stay as you are. Next breath, let's rise up. Inhale. Even if it takes you a few breaths, to rise up, if you are very deeply into your forward fold, it might very well take you quite a few breaths to rise up tall. So slowly keeping the chin tucked until you feel the spine lifted and tall, and then the heart lifts and the head comes very last. And when you arrive here, close your eyes, stay here, a little bit of a shift back with the upper body so you feel that rooting into the sit bones. Okay, soften the shoulders, open the chest. Lift your heart just that little bit more. So just 2 more breaths here. Soften into the groins and the legs. All right, so spidey fingers, the hands beside you, beside your hips, and let's extend the legs out long. Let's go V first. We'll go out into a V first. So wherever your legs are happiest in your V. Blanket out of the way. Try and push the leg bones long. So use the heels. You can use the heels to kind of walk them a little bit for longer here. All right, so let's just stay here for a second. Try and tilt your pelvis forward. If you're finding that you're rolled quite back in the lower back and you're hollowed out in your belly a little bit, then you need to sit on something, maybe a block or a pillow or a rolled blanket or something, just to help you find that length in the lower back and draw the pelvis forward slightly. Okay, so inhale. Exhale, slowly walking it forward, just slightly. So we don't want to go into a very deep fold right now. We were just in one. Just want to open up the groins a little bit. So a slight shift forward. Stay tall and lifted in your heart, tall in your spine. Set your drishti just out in front of you there. Nice soft gaze. Natural bend into the elbows again. You're welcome to tent your fingers or your hands. Feel some length in your spine. We're going to spill off to one side here in just a moment to open up the side bodies a little bit more. And I'll work with that. So let's take a breath. Back up tall, inhale, and spill off to your right. So you can you can either just spill the upper body for now. So if your heart is anchoring down towards the mat, let's take that and shift it so it's more up towards the, where the wall and the ceiling meet or something at that sort of angle. Sometimes it can help you if you put your arm on the inside to be able to shift that, draw this shoulder back and shift things open and forward rather than having the arm back. It's going to naturally want this shoulder to anchor down. So keep both your sit bones grounded, and then take an inhale and let's reach nice and slowly. Find your range where that is for you. It may stop here. You may be able to extend quite long in a way. Check back in with that left sit bone, left hip. Try and keep it anchoring down. You're going to feel a little bit of lightness come into it, but that's perfectly fine. Focus deeply on the side body. From the top of the hip, up through the side, to the base of the ribs, and in between each one of your rib cage. Maybe let your bottom cheek puff a little bit. Separate your teeth. You can even let this hand that's up in the air kind of drape down. Keep pulling pull that elbow or the fingertips towards the tips of the toes or towards, the way the sole of the foot is. Keep pulling that elbow that way. Two more breaths, you guys. So we're going to round the heart down towards the kneecap. Let that top arm fall down. Place it onto the mat. Place the other hand on the other side of the leg and try and shift the upper body so the heart is drawing towards your kneecap sort of idea. Keep anchoring through that left sit bone. Nice, soft, gentle breathing. We're going to slowly round it back up tall. Inhale. And shift the upper body Back straight, heart forward, hips forward. Stay tall. Place your hands onto your kneecaps and nice and gentle. So you're kind of giving them a hug. Wrap your fingers around them, the kneecaps there. Beautiful. Notice how you might feel from one side to the other in the side body there. Awesome. So let's take it back forward. Inhale. Exhale, back forward just slightly. Keep the collarbones nice and wide and smiling. Now we need to do the other side, the side body. So inhale, pull yourself back up tall, and then let's spill it over to the other side. So just gently arriving here, stay fairly easeful in your stretch to begin with. Let things start to open up and realize that you're in a new pose. And bring your awareness or attention to your right sit bone, that right hip. Try and keep your shoulders away from your ears if you can. Nice, soft, gentle breathing, soft drishti. Keep your belly. Can make sure that you're still lifting the pelvic floor and drawing the belly in towards the spine. And then as you're ready, spill a little deeper into your side bend. Let that shoulder blade of your top shoulder slide down. Try and soften all around the top ear there. Gentle breathing. Relax your feet and your ankles. Nice. 2 more nice long breaths. And we're going to get ready to spill the heart towards the kneecap there. So inhale, exhale, bring the arm down nice and slow, and then slowly make that shift of the upper body over the extended leg. And soften the arm bones, the upper arm bones, the armpits and shoulders, across the upper back. Nice. 2 more breaths we have here. And let's round up through the spine. Inhale, drop tall. Exhale, come back to center nice and slow. All right, so place the hands back onto the kneecaps, nice tall spine. Taking a nice deep breath. And just start to knead. So your heel palm here, just start to knead into the quad muscle there a little bit. So just press and push down, or you can pick the muscle up and shake it out a little bit. And just apply a little palm pressure to the thigh around the kneecap. So like you're picking something up off the floor. Take each side of the kneecap and just kind of move it around a little bit. Let your legs naturally move if they want to move. And Press the fingertips into the base of the kneecap there and just little tiny circles. Breathe. Try and stay tall in the spine if you can, and relaxed in the shoulders and the arm bones. And then just press down each side of the shin bone as well. So like a crab sort of hands, and just pressing down and in. Awesome. Let's bring one foot in and just press into, so the instep of your foot there, just apply a little bit of pressure down and up towards the toe mound. And you could kind of make your way around the toe mound, so you go in between the toe mound and the second toe. Couple times there. Awesome. And let's do the same with the other side. A little bit of self-care time. Breathe nice and deeply. You are in tune, hopefully, with your body and what you're needing. So just listen to that and go with what feels right with you here. You can kind of work around the heel bone. If you've been walking a lot or you wear high heel shoes or something, this will feel really, really nice. All right. So let's make our way back to fours again, you guys. We're going to go into lizard. Open up the hip flexors somewhat. But let's find our fours first. Spread the fingers nice and wide on your mat. Pull the belly, drop the tailbone between the space of your knees. Try and soften down your leg bones. Beauty. All right, we're going to go into the right side first. So your right leg's going to come forward for a lunge. Inhale. You can just go from fours if you want to. Okay. Place something underneath your knee for supporting this back knee here. And just stay where it's comfortable for you. And you can kind of rock back and forth a little bit and see where that is, where your comfort zone is right there. And just land in where you feel the stretch the most. Keeping your hips and shoulders square to the front of your mat for now. Press into the toe mound of that front foot, and then let the back toes just settle gently onto your mat. Now you can use blocks here. If you're fairly high up, it's nice to use a block to place your hands on. All right, we're going to stay with lizard for a little bit. So try and soften the pelvis. Feel into the front foot, the sole of the foot. It's nicely connected and rooting. For now, the inner thigh, we're hugging in towards the side body. Nice soft drishti, and let's just stay here and breathe. Soften down your spine. Across the tops of your shoulders. At any time that you'd like, you're welcome to go down lower. So you can either supinate the foot, so roll onto the outside edge of the foot and let the knee fall out to the side. Make sure that you draw the toes up while doing that, or you can open up the toes towards the corner of the mat. And then you're welcome to come down quite low into your lizard. Whatever version works nice for you tonight. Let's find that. It's a nice deep breathing. I should say, if you're someone that your body likes to stay up higher, more in the 90 degree with that back leg, what you can do to also get a little bit deeper into this pose is you can take the same arm of the leg that's back and reach it up towards the sky and slightly tilt over. That might help you to feel a little bit more. Just play with it and see what works and what doesn't work for you. Maybe take a moment here and do a body scan from crown to toes, fingertips to fingertips. Notice anywhere that you're gripping or feeling tightness or tension in your body. And stay here for about another minute. Just listen to your breath. Remain calm and quiet in your thoughts. Okay. If you're down fairly low in your lizard pose, take some time now to come up back to where we began in our pose. Just really slow with your breath. And even if you're still up a little higher, but you've opened up the hip or supinated the foot, we want to bring everything back to center. Nice and slow transition there. So stay here in lizard for a moment, and we're just going to shift it back to get into the hamstring and the calf muscle a little bit. So with the breath and a very slow shift back, once you feel your hip flexor has released, then you can shift back a little quicker. But breathe in. Exhale, peel the tailbone back, nice and slow. Keep your belly engaged. And then once you feel that hip flexor release, you can start to lift the toes of this extended front leg. So balance the hips out horizontally, vertically. They should be facing the front line of your mat. And then push the heel bone into your mat and pull the leg bones back into the hip socket. Take a peek at the foot and notice if you're kind of curling the ankle in, and try and take the toe mound and press it away from you. So you have a nice angle in the ankle. You're not placing any stress or strain on there. Try and release the back body, the back of the leg there. Okay, last breath here. And let's slowly shift it back to where we began. Breathe in. Exhale. Seal the foot down back into your mat. Don't go too deep down into the lizard again. Okay, so we're going to shift back to fours. Breathe in. Exhale slowly. You can shimmy the leg around, whatever works for you to get that leg back there. And then plant it back for fours. Place the hands, spread the fingers on for your fours here. Beautiful. Take an inhale. A few cat-cows. So just work with getting some fluidity into your spine. Nice, good spinal health. So again, working your own pace here through your cat-cow, holding or pausing in the pose if you need it. Beauty. Come back to a neutral spine. So take the hands over to one side, the other side of the mat, breathe in. We're going to need to bring that other side forward. So work your way to getting the left leg forward. Square everything up and then just play with your range of motion here in the hip flexor. See where you're at. Kind of, pull forward, pull backward. Anchor into the big toe mound of your front foot. And then when you're ready, land in lizard, your version for your body tonight. Once you're there, soften the upper body, down your spine and around your shoulder blades. Nice soft drishti. Really nice time to check into your pelvis. Try and find a nice deep stillness here in your pose before we shift to open things up and draw a little deeper. Maybe notice if you're gripping in the ankle of the back foot. Or even if you're gripping your muscles around your bones. So I want to just try and let them be as open and soft as we possibly can. Release into the inner groins a little bit more. Okay, so whatever you did on the other side, let's do the same thing on this side in how you opened up your hip. And then once again, when you arrive to how you want to be in your pose, try and remain nice and still and calm. Still keeping the hips and shoulders square to the front of your mat. What's happening for you at the base of your skull, into the back of your neck, your jawline, around your hairline and eyebrows, tops of your shoulders and your armpits. Just check into all those little places. So I'm just going to leave you with your pose here for a minute or so. Just a nice soft inhale. We've got 3 breaths here. If you're down lower, just stay there for another breath or two and then bring yourself back up nice and slowly. And then let's all come back to center where we began with when we came into our pose. And draw the inner thigh toward the side body. And nice, very slow, mindful shift back to get into the hamstrings. Inhale. Exhale, pull the belly button back towards the spine. As you start to draw, release, and you'll feel that let go of the hip flexor. And then draw the toes up, anchor your heel, pull the belly, drop the tailbone down, tops of the shoulders down from the ears. So we've anchored the heel and we're going to pull those leg bones energetically into the hip socket. And again, being mindful of that toe mound, we want to press it towards the front of the mat there. Keep lots of space in the ankle. Again, trying to draw in a deep sense of stillness and quiet. And 2 more breaths. Alrighty, let's shift forward. Breathe in. Exhale, slowly come back forward. Not too deep though. Awesome. Let things kind of settle there for a second before you shift back into 4s. And make sure you move on your breath out. Nice. Alrighty. Come down onto your elbows. Keep the tailbone up a little higher and drop the head. Maybe stack your fists for a second. Take the elbows a little wider. Keep the tailbone, high, and place your forehead onto your mat. Or sorry, not on your mat, on your stacked fists. Draw the shoulders down from the ears. Tuck the lats down. Pull the belly. So if you're swaying in your lower back, you're going to feel quite the lift in there when you pull your belly and engage. Make some space in around the hip flexors. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Excuse me, sorry. Fabulous. So we're going to come to seat on our knees. Breathe in. Exhale, shift the tailbone slowly back and then roll up to come seat on your knees. Nice and slow roll up. Awesome. Once you reach seated nice and tall, take a scooping breath with the hands and the breath all the way up tall. Inhale. You're welcome to come to seated Sukhasana if sitting on your knees is not comfortable for you. And then just let your hands draw down, nice and calm. Let's do that one more time. So big breath all the way, scooping breath all the way up. And slowly bending a natural bend at the elbows as you let your hands float. Really take your time. This time we're going to flip the hands to float at the base of the belly. Lift the heart from the inside out right there. Okay. Take a breath up to your heart. Inhale. Rise the palms. And flip them to float back down. So using this breath and this time, this movement to calm your nervous system on a deeper level. And soften your tongue, because your tongue is directly connected to your central nervous system. So if it's all tense and pushed up to the roof of your mouth, that's going to send, let's keep going with the hands up and down. That's going to send a message to your central nervous system to stay, engaged and in that fight or flight mode. So if you soften the tongue, and just bring the hands to float down in front of the belly, and let's stay right there. Really soften into the finger joints and the center of your palm. So your fingers don't need to be splayed out wide or anything. This is like you're trying to hold some water in the center of your palm here. Let your elbows fall down, anchor down into your mat towards it. Lift your heart. Lift your heart. Close your eyes. And breathe. Make some sound maybe with your breath. Try and really fill as much of your chest cavity, your belly that you can. Let's go one more time. Good, full breath. Awesome. So let's bring our hands to float up in front of our heart. We're going to bring them together for Anjali Mudra. Drop your nose. So tuck your chin towards your heart. Let your inner arms come to rest on the side body there. Couple of breaths here. Two more breaths. Just holding Namaste floating out in front of your heart space. Nice. So let's draw, as we draw our drishti up, we're going to draw the palms up to the third eye space as well with the breath. So inhale, everything lifts. Place your Namaste right up against your third eye space. Just breathe here. Know that all is well. And let your hands float naturally back down. Take a pausing moment. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to get ready for Shavasana. Okay, so, put on socks or sweater, some music, or find a nice warm blanket. And I'll give us a moment here before we get started with Shavasana. If you want to put a pillow underneath your knees, that's always really nice too. Also, too, we didn't get to legs up. So if you want to put your legs up, have them do legs up for your Shavasana, that's going to feel quite heavenly tonight with all of the lower body work that we did tonight. All right. So hopefully you're comfortable and ready for your Shavasana tonight. Close your eyes. Take in a breath through your nose and a nice sounding audible breath out through the mouth. Do a couple of those to help your body find some ease and some calm, and help you to fully arrive and integrate yourself into your Shavasana tonight. Just taking a nice soft breath in and release your toes and the soles of your feet. Just let your heels feel weighted and heavy, supported into your mat. And soften up along the shin bone and behind your kneecaps. And up into and kind of whirling around the upper leg bones and into your pelvis. Letting go all around of your tailbone, through the lower back, all along your spine, and feel your shoulder blades flatten and anchor into your mat. Feel the entirety of your back body releasing and supported by your mat. So you can just let it go. And soften around the hips and into the belly. And let that softness ripple its way through all of your organs, into your rib cage. Soften down your arm bones. Find a natural bend into the elbows. Soften your inner wrists and the backs of your hands. As you breathe in and you let that breath go, let any tension in the arms release. And softening into your heart, your throat, unwind your jaw joints and soften between your teeth. And into your inner ears and behind your eyes, your skull bones. Draw yourself inward and soften all around your brain. And as you breathe in, let that breath go. Let tension go, let tightness go, let worries and concerns go. Give yourself permission to rest in this time. And taking in a soft, gentle breath in. Staying very quiet and calm as you wake your body up. And starting with maybe wiggling the fingers and your toes a little bit. Okay, find a little bit of depth to your breath. And then start some bigger movements. You can maybe roll your head from side to side, side to side. And then when you're feeling ready, we'll roll to our side and come up to a tall seat. Once you arrive back to your tall seat, just place your hands in your lap in a way that's comfortable for you. Close our eyes, just give ourselves that one more, two more, three more breath here of staying inward, staying quiet on our mat, connected to our practice. And then draw a palm to float just below the rib cage there. And then we're going to take our other palm to float in front of the heart, palm facing the heart. So now let's take our heart from the inside and try to lift it up to meet the palm. I'd like to share, just end our practice with a happiness pledge for us, for carrying us through our week this week. So staying with your eyes closed and breathing. My happiness pledge for each new day. Be higher than I was yesterday. Be brighter than I was yesterday. Be more loving than I was yesterday. Be happier than I was yesterday. Be more prosperous than I was yesterday, and be ignited more than I was yesterday. Be in love with me more than I was yesterday. Let's bring our hands together at Namaste. Anjali Mudra. Take a nice breath in. Let that last little bit of anything go that you just don't need. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your practice with me tonight, you guys. Take care of you this week and have a wonderful week. Om Shanti, deep peace to you. Namaste. Thank you, ladies.